Thank you for purchasing a Woodmizer portable sawmill. We think this mill will bring you many years of enjoyment as you begin to convert your own logs into valuable lumber. Use this DVD to review the basic assembly and operation for your new mill. You may want to view it once all the way through before beginning the actual assembly. Using this DVD in conjunction with the manuals provided should make this process go smoothly. If any additional questions come up along the way, feel free to contact our customer service department for assistance. To complement this assembly and operation DVD, be sure to consult your owner's manual for full safety and maintenance information. Before you begin assembling your LT15, make sure no damage was done in shipment or that you are not missing any components. It will come as shown packaged on a wooden pallet. The first thing we're going to do is to remove the plastic shipping wrap from the pallet and sawmill. Next, cut the fabric straps that hold the bed sections and the head in place during travel. There should be 3 of them, 2 on the bed sections and 1 on the head section. These can be cut using a box knife or sturdy scissors. Always make sure you have proper eye protection when you cut these bands. They will be under pressure and will jump when cut. With the straps cut, you will need to lift the head of the mill up to its highest point. Do this by cutting the strap that is locking the handle into place. Make sure the handle locks into position before continuing. While on the back side of the mill, locate and remove the crank handle bracket and shipping plate. Set the crank handle aside. Just below the crank handle, locate and remove the push bar. Using the same bolts that held the crank handle into place, mount the bracket into its original position, ensuring that the push bar is also mounted into that same position. On the opposite side of the head mast assembly, remove the bolt that is securing the head into place. Squeeze the now released lever and rotate it clockwise to raise the head up all the way. Ensure that the handle firmly locks into place before continuing. At this time, remove all the boxes containing the mill hardware and blade. Set these aside for later use. Now you can remove the 2 bolts and shipping brackets holding the head to the pallet on the hand crank side of the mill. Make sure to remove both bolts and brackets. On the opposite side, remove the 1 bolt holding the shipping bracket to the pallet. Do not remove the shipping bracket at this time. This is a good time to remove the track wiper from its shipping location. The next step is to remove the complete head and mast assembly from the pallet. First, lower the head back down, which gets the center of gravity of the head assembly as low as possible. The required weight capacity of the equipment to lift this is 800 pounds minimum. This can be done with a forklift, hoist, or crane. Slowly start lifting the head. If it is not balanced, then lower and reposition to make sure it is properly balanced. Once the head is lifted high enough to clear the bed section, move it to a safe location until the bed assembly has been completed. With the head and mast assembly out of the way, you can now remove the gas tank from its shipping position on the pallet. Remove the bolt securing the gas tank and mounting plate to the pallet. The gas tank can now be set aside for later use. Now it's time to assemble the bed. Before removing the bed sections, the log clamps need to be released from their shipping positions. On the side of the pallet, cut the ties holding the clamps into place. Once loose, remove the bolt from one of the sides of the log clamp support. Lift the support and slide the log clamp off of the support, rotate, and place the log clamp back onto the support as shown. Now replace the bolt that holds the log clamp support into place. This is the proper resting position for the log clamps. Repeat this step for the remaining log clamps. Once the log clamps are loose and repositioned, remove the two bolts holding the top bed section into place. Be careful. The bed section will drop several inches once these are removed. Each bed section weighs about 160 pounds. With two people, lift each bed section and position on a flat surface. Repeat the process for the second bed sections. Remove these bolts, lift the bed section, and place on a flat surface. For the last bed section, remove the two shipping plates that held the other bed sections in place. Then remove the 4 bolts securing the last bed section to the pallet. Lift the bed section and place on a flat surface. The bed sections need to be placed in the correct order before adding the leveling legs and securing together. 2 of the bed sections have the log clamps already attached. These beds need to be placed into either positions 2 or 3. The last bed section, without the log clamps, must always be in position 1. This places the log clamps nearest to the center of the 3 bed sections. Ensure that the guide rail on each bed section is located on the same side before continuing. Before attaching the beds together, install the leveling legs. Notice the square nut goes on first and is positioned about midway down the threaded part of the leg. Once this is on, insert the leg into the bracket that is welded to the bed frame. Then install the hex head to the top part of the leg. To tighten or readjust the leg, use a 1 5/16 inch wrench. Once you have the first one completed, continue and install the rest of the leveling legs. Readjustment may be required once the mill is completely assembled and set up in the desired sawing location. The bed should be approximately level for ease of operation, and each leveling leg should be supporting bed weight. Next, pull 2 bed sections together. Make sure the alignment pins go inside the tubes. Insert the provided hex head bolt into the holes in the 2 cross members. These will use nylock hex nut. The bolts go on each side of both main bed rails. It takes 2 3/4 inch wrenches to tighten these 4 bolts. Once you put 2 sections together, repeat the process to add the 3rd bed rail. Next, install the main rail coupler. First, make sure the rails are tight against each other. If not, loosen one of the rails so that it will slide. Loosening the 8 bolts that hold the rails onto the main tube will allow this adjustment to be made. Then install the connecting coupler using 2 hex head bolts. Gently tap the coupler using a rubber mallet to start into the holes provided. Tighten the hex head bolts evenly until snug. If the rail was loosened, retighten those 8 bolts at this time. Then repeat this whole process to connect the last remaining bed section. Next, install the head assembly onto the bed assembly. Lift and align the head assembly over the bed. The 2 locking pins will need to be pulled out to let the head assembly go down against the main bed rail. Once in place, remove the lower mast retaining bracket and shipping bracket from its packing position. Using the same hex head bolts and flat washers, reinstall the lower mast retaining bracket as shown. This bracket serves to secure the mast to the outer rail of the saw bed. The bracket should not actually contact the bed at any point. Then install felt rail wipers using the hex head bolt with flat washer and nuts. Make sure to pour Dextron 3 transmission fluid onto these felt wipers before installation. The felt wiper should be snug against the bed tube. Before installing the track wiper, remove the hex head bolts and flat washers from the inside of the head mast assembly. When you're ready to install the wiper, pour some Dextron 3 ATF transmission fluid onto the felt part of the wiper. This will keep the rail clean and lubricated. This will be held into place by using those previously removed hex head bolts and flat washers. Next, install the track scrapers to each end of the head assembly by using the provided hex head bolts and flat washers. As you tighten with a 9/16 inch wrench, make sure each scraper is firmly against the rail. This will help prevent sawdust from building up on the rail and the bed tube. Next, install the 2 rope brackets using the provided hex head bolt and flat washer and nylock nut. Ensure that the 1-inch spacer is placed between the rope brackets and mounting plate as shown. You will notice that the fingers on the bracket are tilted back so that it will hold the knot in the rope. Tie a knot on one end of the rope. Hook that knot into the bracket, then start routing the rope through the mast. Make sure you go over top of the pin and around the inside groove of the lower idler roller, closest to the bed rail. Bring it up to your crank handle pulley, go over the top and loop around 2 times toward the feed handle. Then go to the outside groove of the lower idle roller. Then back through the mast, once again making sure that you are over the top of the retaining pin. Pull the remaining rope back to the rear of the mill. Tie a knot in the rope and put into the rope bracket. If the rope is too loose, the feed handle will slip. To tighten, remove and retie the knot closer to the saw head until tight. With the sawmill nearly complete, we can add the included rollers to the bed side supports. These rollers should go onto the 3 side supports nearest the log clamps. First, insert the bronze bushings inside the 6 provided rollers. Then take the provided bolt and slide on a washer, followed by the roller and bushing, then another washer. Insert the bolt with roller into the hole pre-drilled into the side support. On the opposite side of the support, slide on a washer, roller and bushing, then another washer. Secure all of these into place using the provided nylock nut. Repeat these steps for the remaining 2 side supports. Now hook up the battery cables to the appropriate battery post. The red terminal should be connected to the positive post of the battery and the black connected to the negative post of the battery. Once connected, reinstall the battery cover and secure with the strap provided. If your mill comes with the power feed option, please hook in the wires at this time. Before installing the mounted gas tank, remove the 2 bolts, nuts, and washers from the pre-drilled mounting holes on the head mast assembly. Take the gas tank that was set aside earlier and mount it to the inside of the head mast assembly using the same bolt, nut, and washers. Tighten these bolts to secure the gas tank to the head mast assembly. Once the gas tank has been properly mounted, cut the straps holding the water and gas tubes to the head of the sawmill. Take the clear water tube and push it onto the spout of the white water container. Take the 2 black tubes and lead them to the gas tank. The smaller or thinner tube goes onto the spout with the smaller diameter. The larger of the tubes goes onto the spout with the larger diameter. Loosen the metal fastener on the fuel tube and slide it over the area where the spout enters the tube. Retighten and fasten to ensure the fuel tube is tight and does not slip off of the spout. There is one fastener per tube. When installing the blade, always make sure to wear gloves and safety glasses. Open the two blade wheel covers and insert the blade. Make sure the blade is on the outside of the two blade wheels and under both blade guides. Once the blade is in position, tension the blade by rotating the blade tension handle counterclockwise until it is locked into position. Ensure that the end of the alignment bracket is aligned with the washer. If not, untension the blade, rotate the bolt slightly, and retension the blade. Repeat this process until the alignment is achieved. Lastly, remove the sawdust guide from its packaging position and using the same bolts and nuts, reattach it facing in the opposite direction so that the sawdust is guided toward the floor. Congratulations, you have now completed the assembly of your LT15 sawmill. If you have any further questions, refer to your manual or review this DVD again. If you have any questions not answered by either of these, please feel free to call our customer service department for assistance. The next portion of this presentation will help you get started with the basic sawing and operation of your mill. Enjoy your sawmill.